build timing and rhythm with our wide receivers, get on the same page before we get into training camp, and obviously excited to see them grow throughout the course of training camp.
Through interactions with your players, reports you got from people, what have you maybe learned about this team over the summer months or since you broke from spring ball? Have you learned anything new about this team?
Well, I think they're extremely focused, and that's individually on where they want to get to as a player, but collectively as a football team. They understand the importance of every single day. You got to go win every rep, every set, every single day. Their feet are where they're at. They're in the moment, and we got to continue to do that as we go into our next phase of preparation for the season when we get to training camp.
Josh, what about health status? Cam Selden, Peyton Lewis, those guys in the spring?
Yeah, both of those guys are doing extremely well. Peyton is fully integrated into everything that we're doing. Cam's really close to that. He'll have a growth progression as we get into training camp. But excited to have both of those guys continue along that line and be ready for kickoff when we get to the season.
You mentioned Nico being the guy, obviously. What has he shown you in terms of being ready for that responsibility?
Smart, competitive, skill set, accurate with the football, good decision maker. His work habits, for a guy throughout the recruiting process to come into our building, earn the trust and respect of the teammates around him, to grow as a player, to continue to grow in his ability to lead. I love what he's done as a young player. He is a young player. There's going to be a growth and an evolution and progress throughout the course of the season with him as a player. Excited to see him compete and go do that during the course of the season.
Josh, he has such a business-like demeanor to him, kind of flat line. How much does that fit what you guys like from a QB in your offense?
Well, I think it is important for your quarterback, just like your players, just like the rest of your roster, but your coaches, to never get too high, never get too low, to continue to focus on what's coming next, be in the moment. He's extremely confident. He's that way because he puts in the work. He's a great teammate. He's becoming a great leader. I'm excited to have him inside of our building, leading the offense, and go kick off with him in 24.
Your defense has made strides kind of every year.
Yep.
What's kind of this next evolution that you want to see from them this fall?
Yeah, you go back to 21, our first year here. You look at what we were dealing with. Coach Banks, our defensive staff have done an unbelievable job from 21 up until where we are now of continually growing. And a lot of that's been the development of our roster, some of the limitations that we had when we first got there to where we are currently, understanding of our scheme, the fundamentals within it. You look statistically at us, yards per play, tackles for loss, turnovers, we're top 1, 2, 3 in the league, and there's another step for us. This group that we have on the defensive side of the ball, length, athleticism, speed, it's the most athletic we've been, on all three levels of the defense. So excited to see their growth as we get in training camp.
Josh, what are the challenges of a freshman quarterback leading a veteran team? What are some of the main challenges?
Yeah, our roster is unique. You look at our line of scrimmage. We have a lot of experience on both sides of the football. We have some youth from the time that we got back in January. I've challenged our entire team, but our veterans in particular. As we go into this year, we don't have time for any of our young guys to be young. And so that urgency has to come from everybody. Starts with me, but it's also got to be inside of our locker room. For us this year, with Nico, as a young player, I've gotten a lot of questions like, him as a leader, right? Well, he does. He's phenomenal in communication in one-on-one situations, small groups. He's taking more and more ownership within our entire offense and within our football team. But the first thing you got to do is master your position. And he's continued to grow in that. And his understanding of what we do, defensive structures, being able to control the game. For him, the most important thing is to be himself, be consistent in his work habits and his preparation every day, and be in the moment. And, not get too high, not get too low, just be present.
How much can you accelerate
every young quarterback that I've had, and I've started a lot of freshman quarterbacks in my career, the mastering of the position, the ownership of it, getting to game day, playing, and the growth in the leadership when those things happen, it's all part of the evolution of it. He's been phenomenal inside of our room, inside of our building, in his habits, his growth as a player, but also his communication and leading his teammates. So I'm excited about where he's at and where we see him going.
Josh, the 3 players you brought with you, obviously
Yeah.
veteran, great leaders on your team. What went into deciding those guys? Because you had other guys that would have done a good job too.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of guys that would have done a great job. We have a lot of guys that are deserving of being here, and I think that speaks to the culture that we have inside of our building, what we've built over the last 3 years. These 3 guys are great representatives of, our football program, our athletic department, and our university. They do it the right way. They're 3 guys that had an opportunity to leave and go into the draft, elected to come back for all the right reasons. They care about the Power T. They care about their teammates. They're great leaders inside of our building. They're part of our leadership council. That's why these 3 guys are here.
What kind of stepping stone can last season be for where you want this program to get to?
End of the day, the standard at Tennessee is to win championships. We're in a race to get there as fast as we can. We've done a lot of great things in the last 3 years, last season included. Proud of the steps that we've taken, but we got to continue to climb. And at the end of the day, you got to win every single day. And this group's been really intentional in the way that they competed. They got to finish out, our summer the right way, and when we get to training camp, we got to continue to grow.
How do you balance kind of winning that every day versus keeping an eye on saying, hey, we want to win an SEC championship, we want to make the college football playoff?
Yeah, everybody inside of our building understands the expectations, standards, and goals that we have. The expectations are never going to be greater outside of the building than they are inside of it. But to go accomplish those things, it's a minute-by-minute, step-by-step process that you got to unfold and embark upon. And this group's been really consistent in what they've done.
You guys came so far so quickly your first couple of seasons. What's the hardest part about that last little bit to win the championship you talked about as the expectation?
Yeah, sometimes feet are easier to gain than inches are. At the end of the day, we got to continue to grow individually, collectively as a program. I'm really proud of what we've done. I think we're 3rd in the league in wins over the last couple of seasons. But there's more meat on the bone for us to go take, and that's what we've done all off season. We got to continue that process here as we get in training camp.
Entering year number 4, you haven't had to make a lot of position coach changes.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have the stability with the coaching staff with you through your time here?
Yeah, the culture that you build with your staff and your players, the connection that you build with your staff, and to be honest, their families, the experience that they have, really important in keeping the right people inside of the building. We've been able to do that. It's never just one guy that helps change the trajectory of the program. Our staff, veteran coaches, young coaches have done an unbelievable job. The connection, the trust that they've earned with our players. And when you're able to retain your staff, when you start back in January, for us it's late January when they come back for class, instead of having to build relationships and earn trust from the jump inside of your meeting room, you're able to embark on the areas that you need to improve upon, and you're continuing to take steps forward.
You hear the phrase mini NFL tossed around when people talk about the SEC. How do the 2 new additions kind of affect that and the depth that this conference has to offer?
Yeah, this is the best league in college football, and what you face from coaches, schemes, to the personnel side every single week. This is as good as it gets in college football. That's why you want to coach in it. That's why you want to play in it.
You have a lot of wide receivers training plus some additions. What do you want to see out of that room in order to take that next step?
Yeah, it's the deepest that we've been at the wide receiver position, and all the things that we've had to navigate through since we got there. We're in the best position that we've been able to be in at the wide receiver position. Great competition. You can see that they have great work habits they care about and cheer on the guys that they're sitting in the room with while competing to go earn opportunities out on the field. athleticism, length, ability to attack the football. Really excited about the group.
How did those guys create separation coming up this fall from each other, and just what are you looking for as you kind of go through that process?
Yeah, you earn trust in everything that you do every single day. That's on the field, it's in the meeting room, it's when you're not in the building, but it all begins with trust. And you see guys that you know are going to be in the right spot. Your quarterback has trust in them. You can depend on them to go make plays. You earn the opportunity to go play.
I take that's every position.
Man,
Trust level.
I say it to our team all the time. Once you prove that you're going to play at a championship level consistently, it's our job as coaches to find a role and put you in a position to go be successful.
Anything else? All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me grab that from you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What's the story behind the shoes?
Just I feel like they a little different. I feel like they look good.
You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. You're already tall as is. You can't do it.
Yeah, give me a little hype for sure.
All right, whenever you guys are ready, we'll take questions for Omari. Omari, was it your choice to come back in the second year, or coach or whoever say you got to come back? You just want to do your
Nah, it was my choice. It was definitely my choice. It was something that I really just had to think about, pray about, and just know that, of course, I want to get to that next level, but being where my feet are right now, being here at Tennessee, I feel like was the best decision for me.
Where do you see this D-line this season? Entering another year, what do you think this line is going to look like?
Honestly, I feel like we have a chance to be really good as a defensive line, but we just have to continue to grow, and we can't get complacent with who we are, but we just have to continue to come in every day and just get better.
How does the defense as a whole take a next step?
I feel like the defense as a whole taking the next step is just continue to create chaos, mayhem, tackle for losses, interceptions, just everything, and just playing with our hair on fire, having fun, and just enjoying the moment.
What about your experience, your first 4 years, made you want to have that extra year?
I would say just the people at Tennessee, like, it's a good culture to be a part of, it's a good program to be a part of, and then, like, when you have a chance to have an extra year like that and just know that you're part of the change, and that was the reason why I came to Tennessee, to be a part of change, is a true blessing, and you can't turn down an opportunity like that to just be around those people again.
Omar, how much have you been a part of hosting with transfers, and how different is that from high school?
It's really not that different. Like, it's just more so with transfers. Like, they come in, they're ready to get to work. They kind of already know college. Like, high school guys coming in, trying to learn who they are. But transfers, they already know who they are. So but I've always a part of it. Recruitment, like everything about it, I'm a part of it.
So what those guys hear from you guys as hosts, thinking back on what like you heard and other guys heard, how different is the message now and what they're hearing versus what you heard?
It's pretty a lot of the same, a lot of different. You know, when you just have a different team, it's a whole different team, whole different culture. So of course we're just preaching to the guys that we want them to come in and be ready to play, and just actually like be a part of our team and not come in trying to find themselves. Like, we want you to come here, be a family. Like, do what you do, have fun while doing it.
What is the ceiling for James Pierce Jr., and what have you seen from him kind of as he progresses towards training camp?
Ceiling's hot for James. Every day he's coming in ready to work, just trying to get better, be a good teammate, just continue to growing. Everything he's doing just to have a productive year, and the ceiling's the highest for him, so I'm proud of him.
Did you know that he was going to, like, could you sense that breakout season coming last year, and do you have any other kind of, intuitions about what's coming up this year?
James is just a guy who comes in every day on the practice field. He makes plays. He's always energetic, high energy, very high motor. So you see it all the time. So you just knew it was bound to happen. So it's good to see that happen on the field. And he just continue to get better, and it's going to happen this year.
Is he steering clear of the hype and all the national attention he's getting in the draft and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, he doesn't pay attention to nothing like that.
With Coach Heupel's system, the offense is talked about a lot.
Mhm.
What kind of motivation do you have to assert the defense to the top of the conversation?
A lot of motivation. You know, when you have an offense like that who goes out there, score fast, put up points, it's good to be a part of it, and you know that you're going to play a bunch of snaps. You know, you're going to have a bunch of opportunities, so it's a win-win. I love it.
You said you expected James Pierce to make that jump. Is there anybody who you think would make that jump this season?
It's a lot of guys that I've seen growth in just throughout this year, from spring, off season to the summer. So I won't say any specific names, but I know a lot of guys have really just been putting in a lot of work.
Coach Heupel talked about the goal being a national championship and that being a minute-by-minute approach. How would you describe what that process is like?
It's really, you just got to be where your feet are. You can't look down the road. You got to focus in every day, come in every day, not get complacent, want to get better and want to work. And I feel like we do that. We got a team to be really good.
What was your specific off-season like? Like, how much of it was football, how much of it was mental, physical things you're working on? What was your summer like?
It was just a lot of everything. Just get my body right, mental right, physical, play, everything is just putting everything into it so that I could get the best out of it for the last year.
What does leadership look like to you?
Leadership to me is someone who puts people before him, someone who's willing to care for others, while at the same time know that you're doing the right thing, because if you're not doing the right thing, how can you lead someone? So that's what leadership looks like to me.
Omari, Cooper Mays, you may know, has had some good things to say about you. I wonder how much you guys going against each other in practice has helped over the years, because there's a lot of snaps there.
Yeah, it's helped a lot. And me and Coop, we came in, we formed a great brother. Like, that's my brother, Coop's my brother. We've been out the country together. Like, so you experience people like this, you practice every day. It's easy to come in and like talk back and forth, just learning what you're doing, what I see, what you see, and it only helps the team, so it's good.
Take a few more for Omari.
So much changing this year with new additions to the SEC, college football playoff expanding. Does that really change much for you at all?
Nah, it's the same mindset. Come in, we want to go 1-0 every week, and that's the mindset, that's the culture that we have at Tennessee, and we expect to win, so that's what we just have to do.
Or how excited are you to have Keenan and Pili back playing?
Yeah. I'm very excited to have Keenan. He's a great player, great teammate, smart, look out for other people, a great definition of leadership. It's amazing. Keenan Pili is a great teammate.
How does he affect what you do on the field, Keenan Pili?
He affects us a lot. He makes calls, different things like that, but I also take pride in knowing calls, so that way he doesn't have to tell me, so that way he can play free as well, so that if we all playing free, then we all having fun, so it's good.
You guys have always had a lot of guys on the defensive line the last couple of seasons. What's it like in that room where you guys all probably want to never come off the field, but
Yeah.
you know that if you're on the sideline, the guy that's in there for you is going to probably keep the standard up.
I would say we definitely want to come off the field sometimes. We get we get a little tired, but it's good to, like you said, have guys in the room who've grown. We've all grown together. We've all matured together. It's like you have, if you look at our team, you have a lot of veterans and a lot of young guys. So our room, I would consider us a lot of veteran guys on our team. But like the D-line, those are my brothers. Like, for real, it's fun just to get able to go to work with them every day and know that we all got the same common goal. And we all trying to do one thing, and that's win a national championship and be the best person that we can be and be the best player on the field we can be.
Thanks, Omari.
Yep.
Thanks, Omari.
Thank y'all.
It's
I don't
not
think they do a lot of good if it wasn't going higher than that. I got this far where you go to your phone in, but did they get the offense pretty accurate in terms of the tempo and everything?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not good at these games. I'm not good when I like the shooting games, man. How you doing?
Call of Duty or Fortnite?
Call of Duty. I used to do Fortnite. Really? Appreciate it. Ah.
lucky shoes?
They are.
They came to Texas.
They came to Texas, yeah.
He probably isn't taking them off.
No, he's worn them in the shower and everything. Want a natty with those.
It's true.
Good.
All right, we'll get started. We'll take questions for Cooper Mays.
Coop, SEC Media Days is something you said that you were interested in a year ago. What's it like finally being here?
Big blessing. You know, I think it's a good opportunity for me to represent the school that I go to, represent myself and my family, and just, you know, put my best foot forward.
You've been out there a little bit more, and you've not talked about that, but as far as publicly, maybe not the most comfortable, but now you're doing it and you're doing it a lot. Can you just kind of talk about your approach to that?
Yeah, just trying to be the best I can be every day. You know, and a lot of people aren't blessed with this opportunity to come down here and you know, talk and represent themselves. So just trying to do the best I can with it. I've been blessed, so just, you know, got to take the opportunity as it comes.
Cooper, you've seen quite a few quarterbacks roll through in your time. What makes Nico stand out and appear to be ready for the role?
Just kind of how young he's grown up and matured. You know, I think he kind of came in and was ready to kind of take on the role, whatever that was. But, you know, from the first day he came in and was very humble, very, very eager to learn, and, you know, he's done a great job with us.
What's been the biggest difference in him now that, you know, since the bowl game, knowing he's going to be the guy, he's sort of the leader of the offense and that kind of thing?
Just kind of the way he communicates and carries himself a little bit. You know, he's always been a confident guy and knows who he is and everything, but it's a lot more comfortability when you know what you've done on a college level, and you don't really know till you play, you know.
Has he gotten any louder? We heard these good one-on-one talking to you guys. Is he still sort of a team-wide leader yet, or is that still coming in a little bit?
Yeah, he's a great leader for us because just how he acts, you know. A guy that has all the things that he had going on, especially coming out of high school, and, you know, I don't know if I would come in very humble and you know, ready to learn and everything. So he's done a great job just taking everything in stride, and people respect that.
Lansford is a big addition. What do you see out of him, and what do you think he's going to bring to the table?
Just a great platform for growth. You know, he's got everything that all the God-given stuff that you can't teach, and, you know, he's a great kid as well. And he's come in, you know, a young kid, but he's ready to learn and ready to play, and, you know, he's done a really good job, you know, taking hold of the offense and trying to fit in the best he can.
What about John sliding over to the right side? How natural do you think that'll be for him?
Oh man, I think it's looking natural for me and what I see, but it's a hard thing to do. You know, people don't really realize how hard it is. I mean, it's like batting lefty and then switching to righty. You know, so just kind of flipping everything around physically, and then you add in the mental side of it. It's a hard thing, but I think John's done a really good job with it, and he's continuing to get better, and it's a process for sure.
How has Javantes handled his injury and being out and missing time and just all that rehab and everything?
Oh, I think he's handled it great. I think anybody that knows Sprags knows that he's got a lot of energy and you know, can battle with the best of anybody. So I think it's been really good for him. You know, I don't know if he's ever really been banged up until that. He's played a lot of ball here and done really good. So he's had a really good time kind of having that adversity and then, you know, switching into a positive thing for him.
A lot of new faces in the backfield. I guess, what do you think of the weapons back there, and how excited are you to work with some of these?
Super excited. I mean, we got, you know, they're new weapons maybe, but if there's one thing I know about Coach Hype and his offense is that he knows how to dial it up and use his playmakers. So, you know, I don't know how it'll happen, but I'm sure it'll happen a lot.
How much pressure do you put on yourself in that center position when you are with the young quarterback and you have to call out blitzes and stuff like that?
A lot, but I mean that's what I came back for. I knew what my role was going to be, and I knew what I had to do, and I've kind of found that spot here at Tennessee. I feel like my place is kind of helping everybody around me. I think that's kind of what the center spot does in general, but especially at our offense and what we do. So it's been a process for us.
What else contributed to that decision? What from your first 4 years of your career, good, bad, or indifferent, made you want to come back for another year?
Big thing is I pray about it, you know, finding my faith later in college, and kind of just trusting the Lord with my decision making a little bit more. And then I've got a whole family in Knoxville. Obviously, Cade's, you know, in Charlotte. He's on to different things, but, you know, the rest of my family's still in Knoxville or East Tennessee. So it's been a really good time for me, just getting close to my family and, you know, doing the football thing a little bit more too.
You talked about Javonte's John a little bit. How beneficial is that experience on the line with you, especially with the young quarterback?
Oh, it's invaluable. You know, it helps a great deal. You know, I think the more experience and the more experience you have just in general on the offensive line is the better you'll be. Because, I mean, you can be strong, you can be athletic, whatever, but until you play, you won't be that great at it.
Coach Heupel talked about, of course, a national title being the ultimate goal. What ownership do you take in getting this team to that place?
Oh, every day. You know, it's an everyday process for us. Coach talks about not wasting a day and you know, doing the best we can and putting our best foot forward. So every day I try to come in. You know, it's hard. Everybody, you know, life, you know, every day is something new. But, you know, I think if you have the right mindset and you go in there and try to do the right thing every single second of the day, then, you know, you'll be successful.
Cooper, what about specifically the competition there, that left guard spot for some of those guys?
Specific, what did you say? I'm sorry.
The competition at left guard,
yeah,
for some of those guys competing for that spot.
Yeah, it's, you know, the process is still unfolding. Fall camp will give us a better judge of that, but we got a couple guys that we're confident in that could play, and, you know, there's a lot of guys that, you know, injury happens throughout the season. You never know where you're going to play. So we're just getting a lot of guys ready, and you know, I'm sure we'll find the spot.
I don't know how many reps you got during the spring, but obviously there were a lot of chance for Bison and William to get a lot of work at center. What did you see from those guys, and how have you try to help them along, of course, this whole offseason?
Just growth. You know, I think, you know, I talked about it a little bit earlier, just trying to help the young guys and everything. Those guys, I think, look up to me and kind of listen to me a little bit. So I try to do the best I can, giving them any tips and everything. But, you know, they're still young guys, and they're trying to figure it out themselves. So it's just a process, and, you know, it takes time.
Two more.
How much of a mental back and forth game is it when Keenan's back there? I know he's been out and coming back, but him being the quarterback of the defense, when he's in there, you seeing all the lines and everything, that kind of mental back and forth that you guys could potentially have.
No, yeah, it's a great battle. You know, we really, just the whole defense in general has done a really good job these last few years, especially when we are in fall camp or spring ball. I mean, that's all we go against. So just seeing those guys develop and get better each year, and, you know, it's been really cool.
Is Katie going to be able to go to the game in Charlotte, or is he going to be too busy?
I'm not really sure. I haven't thought about that yet. Probably not, though. He probably got his own stuff going on.
That makes sense.
No doubt.
Thanks, Cooper.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, we'll take questions for Keenan Pili.
Keenan, you're here, and what did that mean to you to represent Tennessee on this kind of stage?
Meant a lot. Definitely felt honored just to come represent Tennessee, and for them to, you know, especially as a transfer, someone who's come in, maybe hasn't been here too long, I feel honored, and I'm excited to be here.
What's been the journey like to get back on the field for you mentally and physically?
Yeah, the physical part, it's going to be physical. Mentally has been even better because I've been surrounded by so much good people here at Tennessee, but especially my teammates and coaches that have supported me through the process of getting back.
What do you like about William Inge, and just sort of what are your impressions after a couple months? And can you tell us anything that we don't know about him already?
Really smart coach, like from the jump. I think we all kind of recognize that. Has a lot of knowledge and gives us a lot of golden nuggets when it comes to film or even how we should play. I feel like that's been a big thing with him. How he is, though, you know, he comes with the juice every day. He's the same guy every day, very consistent. So I've been really appreciative about that.
He talked in the spring a lot about player-led leadership, player-led meetings, things like that. How advantageous do you see that being for this team as just sort of a veteran of college football?
Huge, because leadership's, you know, uncomfortable sometimes, and, you know, he gives a lot of opportunities for us to do that. You know, his favorite saying is like leadership is best coupled with action. So we get a lot of opportunities to do that with him.
Is there inspiration, your nice kicks, or your suit, or anything?
Huh? Oh, no, no inspiration, no inspiration. Kind of threw it on last minute.
Keenan, I guess this time a year ago, you were probably thinking, play one season at Tennessee, then kind of move on with football career. Obviously, last year I played out Jet. What were some of the factors that made you want to come back? And obviously, I'm sure last season injury had a lot to do with it, but was there anything else that sort of drew you back to one more year?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of things put together. I feel like that kind of helped me want to come back. At the end of the day, it was the best thing for me. I felt like to be here in Tennessee, and especially I felt like seeing how much talent and the type of guys that we had on this team, man, we could actually go win it, and compete for those championships that we were talking about. I think that was the thing I was most excited about coming back for.
There's a lot of smoke around Ariana Carter having a breakout season. What does he have to do to make that breakout season happen?
Keep doing what he's doing. AC, he grinds every day. He puts his head down. We have a great linebacker room that are all kind of like him too, that really put their head down, really humble and willing to learn. I think that's the great thing about AC is that he's going to show up on Saturday because of the way he works.
What about James Pierce Jr.? Broke out big time last year. How much attention did he start to get as the year went on, and how much do you guys expect that this year?
Expect the same thing, but better. James is James, and he has all the talent and ability in the world. And I get to see that firsthand. I lift with him every day at my rack. So just excited to see what he can produce. We're trusting him a lot in his position, in his role. So we're excited to be a part of that collective defense as well.
Of course, the offense gets a lot of buzz under Coach Heupel. What gives you, the optimism and encouragement that the defense can kind of take over the conversation this season?
Just a special role. I think, how we've kind of viewed it is, can we get our offense the ball? That's always been the thing as defense. How much takeaways and stops can we do? Because we know when we get our offense the ball, they can score. So that's really our goal on defense is to get that ball to them.
You talked a little bit about the linebacker room. You've been a part of several linebacker rooms in your career. What's maybe different about this particular group going into the season compared to some of the other ones that you've been in?
Man, all 12 guys, and we got a lot of maybe younger guys, but you wouldn't be able to tell like the way that they work and the things that they sacrifice each and every day. So I think that's the big one I'd say is that there's no slacker in the room. It's a high standard, high expectation in that room right now.
What about Nico as a leader on this team now that he's QB1? What's that like?
It's been actually really cool to see his maturity and his growth over the time that I've been here. Been kind of seeing him as coming as a freshman, and especially this offseason really taking over the team, taking over that leadership role. And I feel like as players, we kind of have an accountability factor to him. Like we owe it to him. Him being maybe a little bit younger, we still look towards him to lead us at the end of the day.
Keenan, not specifically about your injury from last year, but I'm sure it can limit what you can do sometimes in the off season. How would you describe yourself physically heading into this season as opposed to 12 months ago?
Amazing. No setbacks right now with my arm. Haven't had any real problems with it this offseason either. It's pretty 100% at this point.
How exciting is that?
Really exciting. Yeah, man. Being healthy is always a blessing, so each day I wake up and I'm grateful for that.
Do you expect them, when you guys get to camp, to have days where they're going to pull you back and say, hey, maybe set, or are you going to tell them off? I don't want to miss you on the field.
Nah, I'm so excited to get back and be on the field, so nah.
You talked a little bit about William Andrews, but Tim Banks, what is he like as a defensive coordinator? What's a story about him that maybe nobody knows?
Let me think on that story, but Coach Banks, he gets after it, and you kind of get the vibe of his defensive mastermind, his scheme and what he wants in the defense. I think he does a really good job at explaining what we should do, and I'm trying to think of any funny stories. Nothing's coming to mind right now, but if I do, I'll get back to it.
Do you have a better understanding of the defense? You had just been on campus a few months a year ago. Now you've been with the team and program more than a year. How does that compare?
Yeah, I mean a lot more than I did, but really just putting in that extra time to even learn the entire defense as a whole, different positions and things like that can go a long way. So that's really what I've been focusing on recently.
Sorry, been a lot of discussion about the secondary, a lot of turnover back there. What do you like about the guys that are back there?
Got some guys that are competitive, and a lot of talent back there on the back end. We got some young guys, a lot of speed, a lot of length, a lot of, I don't know, sideline to sideline. So I'm excited to see, because a lot of them haven't played too much. So excited to see a lot of them compete here in fall camp, and then to do what we need to do on Saturday.
Did you get a lot of reps in the spring with the in-helmet communication? Is that sort of going to be your role, and how is that different for you?
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. It was interesting getting used to, the volume level, too high, too low, can't hear nothing, or it's muffly. So Coach Banks and me going back and forth, like what's working, I think it's been a cool learning experience. I think it's going to help a lot, though.
Was it an adjustment period at first, having somebody in your ear, knowing your whole career you've never really
It was
had that
weird,
person?
yeah. No, it's like a little whisper. It's like right here in the back of the head, so it kind of threw me off for a sec.
Well, you probably had the volume turned all the way up just to get ready for the season. When you guys are on defense, and especially at home, it's going to be loud. You're going to have to probably have the volume all the way up, right?
No doubt.
Was that a different thing for you in the spring, just having to adjust that based on in practice versus getting ready for a game?
Yeah, no doubt. It was definitely a little bit of adjustment. I think in the long run, though, it'll pay off.
Coach Banks is pretty calm with his demeanor, seemingly. Can you imagine Mike Eckler being the one?
Probably have to. No, he'd make me want to hit something if he's in my ear.
Is Coach Banks pretty calm on the headset, or does he get animated when he's?
He can get animated. Yeah, he can get animated for sure. But he definitely, when it comes to checks and things going on in defense, you got to be pretty collected to get it across.
All right, anything else? Thanks, Keenan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keenan. Good job.
All right. Appreciate you all coming by.
Where do you get to do this? I don't know how to respond, or we can do it out there. I think
So you probably tripod.
Yeah, because we're doing Cooper here in 5 minutes, and then Quinn said Trinity Ballroom was the other place. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I like your idea of changing it up so it's not the.
Yeah, let's move to. Yeah, I think it's okay. Thank you.
Right. I'm sure but it's still, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Yes. We just walk by. Okay. Yeah. It'll just be that call today. But I think you're like, y'all have got time to think on it. We need to start at 9. I gotta get in there, so we've got to do.
We can do it with the kickoff.
Okay.
Just shift it over.
I like the way you think.
You guys gonna
Yeah, we're honestly just gonna switch the sign. Does that work?
I got Dave too, so I'm just gonna knock those two out now.
Perfect. Yeah.